What's going on, guys? 1987 Mastermind here. You know who I am, and you know who you are. What's going on, everybody? Yeah, so I was just watching this video on this guy's YouTube channel. His name is the PlayStation Crusader, and it's something really interesting. And you know, I saw Pyro's video. He was talking about how, you know, really Nintendo copies a lot of the ideas. Oh, you didn't want to pick my nose. But anyway, copied a lot of the ideas basically from Sony. Now, let me give you some. Back in the day, this is what they were talking about. This is from Sony's site, museum. We're all talking about how the PlayStation came about and everything like that. Back before Sony, you know, made consoles. I mean, Sony obviously is around because they make technology and stuff like that. They make, you know, TVs. They make, you know, you get the point. So Nintendo and Sega, you know, like today it's Xbox versus PlayStation versus Nintendo. Back then it was Sega versus Nintendo, right? So yeah, you know, Ken Tarugi, I can't pronounce his name. His last name's Tarugi, I think, believe it. He's, you know, Japanese. You know, Sony's Japanese. You know, so was thinking about even making a console before, even in the 70s, and they said no. I thought that was pretty interesting. And this is going to upset a lot of Xbox people, but too bad. This just proves that Nintendo does copy, and Nintendo does copy some of Sony's ideas. So I think it was the Super Nintendo, I believe. The Super Nintendo, they teamed up with Sony. And the big genius, and his name was Tarugi. If I pronounce his last name wrong, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm not a Japanese guy. No offense to you Japanese guys. You made a great console in Sony. But a lot of the specs of the Super Nintendo came from Sony. That is freaking. I was like saying to myself, whoa. For all us PlayStation fans, whether it be Macho Mustachio and Pyro, that's pretty cool. I thought you guys would enjoy that. I mean, could you imagine Nintendo and Sony were allies before Sony started making consoles, PlayStation, and stuff like that? A lot of the specs on Nintendo, the Super Nintendo console, was made by Sony. Sony. Nintendo, you couldn't do it by yourself, so you gotta have Sony's help. That is freaking cool. Now, this video, I think, is about 20 minutes, and there's more facts here and stuff like that. But I think that's amazing. Wow. Sony, how many times? Sony, it's numerous times where Sony and Nintendo teamed up together. So a lot of the hardware that was on the Nintendo system was Sony. The mastermind behind the last. You could check this out for yourself, my friends. If you don't believe me, if you just think I'm being a fanboy here, this is facts. That is freaking cool. Sony and Nintendo basically worked together back in the 1980s. Now, Sony, back in the day, didn't make PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, PlayStation. They didn't make consoles. The guy wanted to make consoles, but they said no. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously back in the 70s and it wasn't that popular. Gaming wasn't a viable medium of entertainment. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that's freaking amazing. In your face. No, I'm kidding. I love Nintendo also, but they just disappoint me in my opinion. The graphics, the quality is not there. I mean, you got Zelda, that's great. They had one great year in 2010. But look, just what? Sony worked with Nintendo. If you don't believe me, go to the PlayStation Crusaders website, YouTube channel. I'm giving him the credit. He featured, I think he favored it or something like that. Thank you, PlayStation Crusader, for the info. Now, if that's not freaking cool, I don't know what is. Pass this video around, Sony people. We gotta spread this. Alright, guys. Take care.